Dun 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 dun! Captain America. So, Captain America, the superhero movie that I was really excited to see, and I was a little bit nervous if this was going to be a masterpiece, or was the fuse on this firework a little bit too short? Find out now. So yeah, to start, I wanted to bring up the story of this movie. Did you guys know that that was going to be sweet? Because it totally was. This movie was something, it was really bold for this movie to go out and do a plot like this, because not only is it set in the 40s, you know, during World War II and all that good shoot, pop, pop, badang, it's set up there, and the story that they do is really, really risky, and I assume that it's following the comic book, because I don't see any writer in Hollywood being clever enough to tell the story like this, or them... See, if they were still with, you know, like Fox or something like that, I don't see this story could have ever happened at all. There's no way in hell. But, so, what happens is, the story of Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, who becomes Captain America. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you don't know what this movie's called. Turns into Captain America after trying to get into the Army 5 times. This man loves America. He loves America, and he wants everyone to know that. And you know who sees that? This little doctor, yeah, who has an accent like this, played by, what's his name again? We're going to find out. Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci comes in playing this little scientist who is of Yemen, and he sees that little Steve Rogers, which was a really important thing for them to do in this movie, for that to be believable, for it to work as, like, they wanted it, like, make it perfect. To have Captain America show him as a scrawny guy, so, like Stanley Tucci says in the film, he can appreciate this size that he's given and this strength and everything. The story, though, it takes some really unexpected turns that are so much fun to watch. While it gets cheery at one point, you're like, wow, this is tons of fun. Look at him. He's Captain America, you know? He kind of turns into, not to ruin anything, but, like, in a way, like, a show pony, because something happens where they're like, oh, well, you're just a big, strong guy. We were expecting an army. And they just get one. They get Chris Evans to be Captain America. And there's a guy who says, well, I can find a way for you to earn some money. So he basically ends up becoming a show pony. Lame. And he knows that. And that's really, like, when it gets really cheery at one point, and man, does that show how freaking dark it can get. It goes right back down, and it gets gritty and raw, which brings me to the villain who has a face that's gritty and raw. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's Red Skull, played by the amazing Hugo Weaving, who reminds me a lot of the guy from Lord of the Rings, who played Smeagol, because he's really good with these, like, CGI focused and, like, makeup heavy characters. Like, he played V for Vendetta. You don't even see his face, and that was a great performance. He was, what's his name? Agent Smith in The Matrix, and at least in the first one, in the only Matrix movie, he was really good. And I can safely say, he does not sound like Skeletor. He sounds like a German pissed off guy with a red face. He sounds like he's supposed to sound. I want to say also, all performances, great job. Everyone was believable. Even Chris Evans. I didn't even think, that's the Human Torch. Nope. That was Captain America. That's all he was. And I think, honestly, it had something to do with this really great script they had. The script was really clever and had the right amount of jokes in it that I never thought were corny or anything like that, but they also weren't, like, poop jokes or fart jokes. They were all within context of what they were talking about, like, what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones at one point, just like, I'm not going to kiss you after Chris Evans kisses a woman. He's like, I'm not going to do that. You know, like, kind of funny stuff like that. Really want to mention again, Stanley Tucci does a great job. He's not in this movie for very long, but I really, really, really liked him in this movie. The cast is really quite big in the film. There's lots of stars. You're going to recognize tons of people. You're going to be like, hey, there's that guy, and that guy, and that guy. There's a lot of people to recognize in the movie, and it's total lot of fun. I'm going to try and speed this up because it's staying on. There are no bad apples in the cast in this movie. Brings me to my next point, the pacing. They followed Thor's route, and they went with this, like, kind of, like, quick pacing, and I realized that's how you make these comic book movies. There's so much stuff in each of these panels, like so much story on each page of these comics, that to tell the story properly, you have to go at a pace that is relatively fast. And they do that in this movie, just keep cutting and cutting, and the edits are really, really good in the movie. And I was trying to think, like, what didn't I like in this movie after it was done, and I realized there was one shot in the movie that bothered me, and I know that sounds like I'm nitpicking, and it's because I am. There was one scene where you see him, it's in the trailer, he's like swinging on the chain, and it literally, as he's swinging on the chain, he's like in midair, he's like, is he gonna jump? No, it just cuts to him immediately running, which makes me think that maybe on DVD and Blu-ray we'll see like an extra part of that scene that got cut out, because I have no idea why that happened. It was kind of weird. He's just, wee, like, that just happens. Director, good job. He did a good job. Other than that one part I mentioned, the direction is fun. It's really good. The action is really well done by this guy. He definitely knows how to edit the movie. I don't know what it was with that one shot. They definitely cut something out of the scene. But there's, like, parts, like, where the action's happening. It's really exciting. And there are points, like, where bring me to the 3D, which I'll get to in 1 second with my fancy new glasses, where I got startled, where shit was coming at me, I thought. And it really surprised me. Like, obviously you can guess what he was throwing. But, like, everything that Captain America does is pretty damn cool. And just really wanted to mention, costume, totally awesome. This is like realistic Captain America, as realistic as it was going to get. And that brings me to the 3D. And you say, oh, it was one of those post-converted movies, you don't want to see that. Well, wrong. This director actually knows what he's doing. And the trick to it is, I realize, is having things in your foreground that are just taking the eyes, like, the attention of the eye, and then having, like, when you do the post-production 3D, and having things in the background moving, so when you see that thing up front, you're like, whoa, that thing's up in front of me, but there's things behind moving there. So it keeps it really interesting, and everything is nice to look at, which is always a bonus when you're watching a movie. I have only been nice things to say about Captain America. It was really damn good, especially in 3D. The action was startling and awesome. Go see this movie. Great cast, great everything. It was awesome. America! Yeah, so you know what the deal. Right down there that I suck. Thumbs me down over there, over there. You can subscribe by clicking over there. Maybe up there, somewhere up there. If you click subscribe, you'll get to see more of my ugly mug some more. So hey, see you guys around.